and the voice of the New Jersey Devils and Kansas Jayhawks and guys around the SEC. Chris Stewart, who you know well, and it was quite a scene that he pictured to me. But I was proud of Matt Zimmerman. It's an award that I think he deserves well. And man, I mean, you work about as closely with Matt as anybody else, Chuck. So you got to be proud too of your partner.
Yeah, I'm glad he got to go. My understanding is they put on a pretty big shindig over there. It's not always been that way as they've done this, but I think over the last few years, they've really turned it into something special.
All of a sudden, I feel like I lost Chuck too. It's like we've got all kinds of stuff going on here with our equipment today, but.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you a little bit better there, Chuck. Yeah, for years
okay. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I was hearing and still am hearing a strange echo in my ear. But happy for Z. Glad he got to go.
I don't know exactly
and
what's going on with
I understand they really do a bang-up job.
Figure that out. I want Chuck to have
he was wearing a suit, so I mean, you got to give him credit for that.
Of an echo in his ear if he's doing this segment with us. Clay, have you been to that event?
No, I've never won.
Never won that? That's a surprise.
No, I've never won.
That is a fantastic event.
Yep.
I've been there to Salisbury once, small little town just like Mayberry, and then they moved it to Winston-Salem and now just outside Greensboro. So
yep. I know my dad went several times, and it was basically you go and you pick it up. That's all he said. So he quit going. I mean, he would win it. And he would just say mail the so in our we had a 2-story house, and up the hallway there were plaques and pictures and family pictures all the way up the winding staircase, up to the second floor. And there's this long thing like where it goes from the wall is basically a 2-story wall, and there's this deal that says Sports Writer of the Year, and then they would just send you a little bar and some chains, and you would put the next year and the next year and the next year. It wouldn't be once you won one plaque, you didn't get any more plaques. You just got another year, and that went down about 10 or 12 spots. Then I think Jim Bailey started winning it about that many times.
Yeah, it's well deserved for Zim.
Yeah,
for his time on the Razorback Daily. It's not just for the basketball broadcast, and he's obviously pretty well known for that. This wasn't on the Razorback Daily, but maybe you saw this on a piece on Hogs Plus where Hunter Henry was featured. You know, Hunter is at the Little Rock Air Force Base. He's got a special football camp that he's putting on for 2 days I guess it's not just for, it might just be for members of the base and their family. But he was detailing to, I think it was Brooks Ellis and to Austin Allen about what it was like to play for Kevin Kelly. He talked about Kelly being so hard on him. The better that he got, the harder Kelly was on him. And that he actually tried to play better to try to, in his words, show him, unquote. And he certainly did. And Coach Kelly had a really interesting response. He showed regret about it. That he felt that he didn't show the proper kind of love that he thinks now that he should have shown to Henry. And I wonder if there's some coaches sometimes that, like Dave Van Horn and Andy Sawyers from SEMO. You remember Coach Sawyers detailed, Dave was really hard on him the one year that he played for him at Nebraska. He made an example out of him and then helped him get a job. He basically had a job for him lined up. And Dave is a different sort of a coach now than he was then. That's a long time back. But I do wonder sometimes if, Coach Kelly looked like he's got some regret about the way that he, I wouldn't say treated Hunter Henry, but coached Hunter Henry. And you hear Sam Pittman, Clay, a lot talk about, trying to love on the guys, let them know that they love them, they care about them. And, I don't remember coaches talking like that when I was growing up or even really like 20 years ago, and it does feel like a big change.
I had somebody, this is in a leadership role, that he'd worked with me for a long time, and he came and told me, he says, I really need you to be hard on me. And I was like, well, I think I am. I mean, I expect a lot from you. And he goes, he said, when people are soft, to me, I get soft, and I need you to do that. And I never thought of that. Like what style does one person need and what style does another person need? And it's different. And I've heard coaches talk about that they would pick out somebody that, that a really, really talented guy that, that if you didn't stay on him, he just, he'd fall back a little bit. But, it's interesting to see the dynamics of what coaching is.
Yeah, I think coaching, it's changed. It's had to change in the last few years. And I mean, I wonder if the transfer portal has much to do about that. You want to chase off some of your best players, and I don't know. People want to be coached. Some athletes want to be coached hard. Some athletes expect to be coached hard, and if they're not, maybe they'll go in another direction.
Yeah.
But I feel like the way that Henry put it, I don't know if this is proper, if this is exactly the way that he meant it. It was the idea of he just didn't think the guy liked him. There's a difference between this guy's coaching me really hard, but he's just trying to get the best out of me. And there's a difference between that and I just don't think this guy likes me very much.
Yeah, I did almost a 2-hour interview with Dick Booth, who was, the great, field event guy, jumps, triple, long, high jump coach for John McDonald, Dick Booth, and he had 147 All-Americans, 45 NCAA champs, and he said that, some of his guys, he's like, I don't think they like me, and because of the way I coached them. And he says, then when they're done, they came back and they're like, and it's like that's exactly what I needed. But they didn't feel that way when I was coaching them because our methods were really tough. But it's like guys like Mike Conley, if you didn't push him, he was upset. So yeah, sometimes it is, it's like you're having fun, but you're miserable while you're having fun.
Right.
It's like I don't really understand that those are oxymorons, but that's the way coaching is, and it's about pushing the buttons. And Petrino's the reputation of being really tough, really hard, but then you talk to somebody like Ryan Mallett or Tyler Wilson or Jarius Wright, it's like they knew exactly what they were getting from him, and it was I don't think it was tough love. I think it was mean love. So,
yeah, there's a difference there.
Yeah.
Tough love, you just kind of expect that there's love behind it. Mean love, I don't know if those two words necessarily work together very much.
Yeah. My dad talked to me about how you were going to be coached because he'd seen it all. And one critical thing that he told me, and he says, listen really close to your coach. He says, if you don't hear anything, you're probably not going to get to play. He says, if they're completely ignoring you, he says, that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. He says, when they're really hard on you is that they think you got something that you can give them that you're not, and they really, really want it. I mean, that was correct. And I mean, I, would compete with guys that the coach just completely ignored. Well, they might as well not have been on the team. And so, I never cared if they yelled at me. And when they stopped yelling, then that's when I worried.
Let's try to bring Chuck back in here. And Chuck, I want to go back a little moment ago to, you remember Andy Sawyer's talking about Dave Van Horn, the SEMO coach, and how Dave was just rode him really hard. To me, that was a coach that was trying to make an impression upon a brand new team that he had just inherited. And I mean, this is the day where you make a coaching change, there's no transfer portal. You can't just have a mass exodus like you see, going on in a lot of other places. So you're going to make this impression upon your players, and it sounded like DVH made an example out of Andy Sawyer's, so that the rest of the team would have an understanding of how he wants them to play or how he wants them to act. But then I mean, it was tough love, I think, in that case, because he had a job waiting for him at the end. And that's the thing that just seemed more unique about that relationship than I think any other relationship that I've heard of.
Well, I'm not a coach, so I'm not going to try to, say exactly what a coach's method is. But the one thing I've learned over the years from observing is there's always a method to the madness, particularly with the good ones. They may do some things that don't make sense today, and they may not make sense 2 years from now, but they'll make sense somewhere down the road. And that's when, perhaps, the lasting effects of coaching really take effect. Coaches know what they have to do with their programs, and they hopefully know how to get the best out of a player. But, again, I'm not a coach, never been one, never will be one. And but that's just kind of my observation.
I think partially you can tell about how some of those players feel about Dave just by how many coach with him later on as they're starting their coaching careers. And I think to me that kind of speaks some volumes about it. All right, it sounds like things are working with Chuck. Things are working with Clay. It only took us 29 minutes to figure out everything as far as the equipment is concerned here. So we'll be right back, and we'll have more with Chuck Barrett and Clay Henry right after this on Halftime.
They were so convincing in their argument, they swung me.
This is Halftime. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free, with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McCarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McCarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McCarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. Bet online. The game starts here.
This song hit number 2 without one guitar. Gary Wright traveled with George Harrison to India for spiritual enlightenment and wrote Dream Weaver, describing God as infinite love and compassion, seeing him through the trials of the night. Of the 330 million gods of Hinduism, not one will get you to the morning light, but only through the blood of Jesus Christ. Satan is a master deceiver, weaving many into make-believers. I'm Pastor Eve from Woodland. Think about it.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and hitthatline.com. Have you been to Swark Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swark Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swark Liquor, 864 East Colin Ray Drive in Queen, Arkansas. Swark Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you. Are you ready to give your family the best 4th of July experience yet? USA Fireworks wants to make that happen with the USA Fireworks Bangin' Giveaway. USA Fireworks has helped Arkansans more than 30 years. Go to hitthatline.com/USA Fireworks and enter for your chance to win a fireworks show worth $2,000 retail. Again, hitthatline.com/USA Fireworks. For more information about wholesale prices, go to usafireworks.org.
Over 86,000. We won't be in either of those stadiums this year. I guess we'll be in Austin a year after. It's a momentous week, but it's a momentous week that we've known is coming for the last 2 years. There aren't any games to worry about, right? It's almost felt like OU and Texas have been members of the SEC even in the last 4 months.
Well, I mean, I think we knew when baseball ended that, the next time there were SEC games, Texas and Oklahoma would be in the league, and clearly football is when it's going to happen in August. There may be some soccer matches, I guess, as I think about it now in August. But as I said yesterday, I mean, I'm going to be honest with you here. I'm not rolling out the welcome mat for these guys. They bring a lot of cachet with them, but they're going to have to earn their stripes just like everybody else did. And so, I kind of view it from two different perspectives. I will tell you from a broadcast perspective, and I want to be serious about this, I am rolling out the welcome mat for them because Craig Way at Texas and Toby Rowland at Oklahoma are two guys that I've crossed paths with many times over the years, and I think the world of both of them. And our league's better because those two guys are coming into it. But, Texas is still Texas. I think we've seen that the last week or so. They've not changed a bit. So, we'll see how it all plays out. Texas is going to be just as hated in the SEC as they were in the Southwest Conference and the Big 12 and any other conference that, they might land in. So, I think we see not much has changed there.
Chuck, that's an interesting take because you ever sit down with Dean Weber and he really tells you what he thinks? And,
I did a few times, yeah.
And it can be harsh. I mean, it's like, so I'm standing in the Hogs Illustrated baseball box. This has got to be 3 years ago or something. Or maybe it was about the time that Texas and Oklahoma came in the league. And he'd heard me on the radio, and I did my little ditty where, it does my heart good when Texas football, Texas basketball, and Texas baseball sucks. And then talked about how much I hated Texas. And Dean said, we don't hate Texas. And I was like, well, wait a minute. Yeah, we do. We were trained, from birth. And he says, well, that's bad training. And then he said something that I hadn't thought about, is he had dealt, just in his own dealing, travel to Texas, travel to games, different venues or whatever, playing Texas. Well, his dealings were with coaches, trainers. That's who he dealt with. And he says, they're some of the best in the world in the help that he got. In what you just said, there's great people at OU and at Texas. What we all learn to hate is the arrogance of their fans. Two different things. Two different.
Well, they got some people working there that are probably, borderline. But
yeah.
No, I understand what you're saying, and look, they are both very professional organizations, and they add that to the SEC. But I'm not making the big deal over it. A lot of people are. This is a media story because there's nothing else to talk about in the summer.
Yeah.
But this will all be settled on the field and on the courts, and 5 years from now, we'll view them as part of the league the same way that the league came to accept us, and we came to accept Mizzou and A&M. And the one thing that I am glad about is, you think about when we joined the league, we were by far and away the westernmost outpost. There wasn't much southeast about, us in this league. And I do like the fact now that there's a little bit of strength over here on the western wall, that even though Mizzou's in the Eastern Division, they're on this side of the league, and now you've got now you've got Texas and Texas A&M and Oklahoma and Arkansas. So we got a little bit more stroke, I think, on this side of the league than maybe we had before.
For folks like us, I'm excited about it because we get to go to Austin and see Dish Falk and Royal Stadium and the new basketball arena and everything that goes on in Norman. I mean, they're flagship institutions, and if you work in college sports, I think you want to see these things and experience that and everything. Not every fan gets to do that, though. It's like, the coaches aren't viewing it from that perspective. They can also view it from the perspective of the league just got a lot tougher. And like almost every sport, it got a lot tougher. And it's not like the SEC needed to get a lot tougher, but here it is. It's football, men's and women's basketball, baseball, softball, everything. This league, which was already top of the list in just about every sport we talk about, it just got tougher in every sport.
Yeah, Norman's not.
Well, I've been to Dish Falk Field. I've been to Darrell K. Royal Memorial Stadium. Never been to the one at Oklahoma, the football stadium. I've been to their other facilities over there. As you say, most people probably aren't going to go. These trips are only fun if you win.
Yeah.
And, I mean, everything that I've heard about is like, it's going to be great to go to these places. Well, that's true. But it's only going to be fun if you win some of these games. And, there is a dimension that everyone's excited about in terms of playing Texas and a chance to play Oklahoma. But let's not sit there and act like we've beaten them more times than they've beaten us. Yes, the league's tougher in everything now, and that means everybody, including Arkansas, has got to get better. Because here's the cold, hard reality. 2 football programs that are ahead of ours just joined the league, which means we dropped 2 spots. And that's why I say I'm not taking part in these pep rallies. They bring their brand with them, and all that's good. But the way I view it is what you just said. The league just got a whole lot tougher, and these rivalries will only be rivalries if both sides win. So everybody, Arkansas, everybody else, you got to step your game up, because Texas and Texas A&M has replaced Alabama and Auburn as the fiercest rivalry in our league. We're going to start having events in Dallas. And, the landscape of the league is going to change with Texas and Oklahoma coming in. And but it's going to be settled ultimately in competition. And I think they're both pretty well equipped, to be very honest with you.
Chuck had asked a question in the first segment since I'm seeing so many beach photos from trips that families are taking. The girls or the guys are all taking trips to the beach, and I'm just not that big of a beach person. I mean, I've been to plenty of them. I've been to the Pacific, I've been to the Atlantic, I've been in the Caribbean. I actually like going to Lake Michigan. No salt, doesn't hurt when you get in. Chris in Springdale asked if I've been to the Dead Sea. Yes, that's the most painful body of water, I think, on Earth. Chuck, are you a beach guy? Do you care about ever hitting the beach, or are you just like, I don't need all
like
of
the
that?
beach lifestyle. I mean, I'm like a beach whale. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Sitting out on the beach, that's all day long. That's not really my idea of a great day. But no, I like the summertime and the beach and all that. I think it's great.
I just can't get with it. In some cases, it's a lot of crowds. Everybody's fighting for a little position. Sand in your, I can't do the sand in your food. So that's, I mean, there's ways to mitigate that. You go into the apartment to eat and come back and everything. It's just, I don't know. Maybe he was growing up in Pittsburgh. I had all these friends that would go to Ocean City with their family and everything. What did my parents do with us? We went to the Pirates games. Those were our little
Phil,
trips.
you need to go to the Redneck Riviera. It's
never
not
been.
about the picnic. It's not about the picnic. It's about what's in your cooler on the Redneck Riviera. You don't have to worry about sand in your food there.
I'm doing it the wrong way.
And Chuck knows that this is my way of doing the beach. I go with my wife and daughters and wish them well at 8 a.m. as they're kind of eating all their fruits and all that kind of stuff. And I go to the golf course. And the good
Here's
thing
how
about
it works. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, and you don't have to have a group. They'll put you in with somebody. And sometimes it's Chuck Barrett. I found Chuck down there, and we played some golf down there. But yeah, I mean, I don't want the beach, but there's some really great golf courses close to the beach.
Here's how it works. Dad gets up at 6 o'clock. He goes down and puts up the tent for the rest of the family. He's the hero for the rest of the day. He can do anything he wants. The women go down to the beach as soon as the sun comes up, because that's why they're there. You've got the tent set up. You got the chairs out. You're the man. And as soon as they go down there, you go to the golf course. And because you've set the tent up, you've got a day pass. You can do anything you want. You can play 18. You can play 36. You can go drink beer after you play golf. You can stay out all day. The key is to set the tent and the chairs up for everybody else when you get up early. If you do that, you'll have a great vacation.
Yeah, meanwhile, I'm taking my kid to the White River this weekend instead of the beach. We're not hitting the beach. Where am I taking him in 3 weeks? New York City and Cooperstown. We're going to the National Baseball Hall of Fame. I'm going to host the show.
You'll enjoy that, and he will too.
I'm going to host the show from the Hall of Fame for 2 days. I can't wait. Have you been to Cooperstown, Chuck?
No, I've never been.
You got to go. I haven't been in 30 years. So I can't wait to see, what's changed since then. But I know how much you love baseball, and that's the one thing about it. It's not on the way to anywhere. If you're going to Cleveland, you can go to Canton. If you're going to Boston, you can go to Springfield. You going to Cooperstown? You were going to Cooperstown. So I would recommend it for someone like you anytime, Chuck.
I would enjoy going. It's just never worked out. I guess would be the simple way to say it.
Yeah. Brandon in Paris says, the beach is like alcohol. A little bit of it is okay, but get too much and it's bad for you. And then you just look like you're bright red and you came out of the ocean as a lobster. That's how it works.
There's a certain amount of truth to that.
Yeah, I think so too. JT says, stay at a place that puts the umbrellas and chairs out for you. Well, then how are you actually going to be the king for a day? Just like Chuck explained, JT. That's
you go over there and you go over there, pay the fee and claim one for them.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. And make their own drinks for them. It sounds about right. Hey, Chuck, have a great July 4th holiday. Appreciate you coming on. Sorry about the technical issues, but we've got it figured out. Thank you.
All right, guys. All good. Have a good day.
You got it. It's Chuck Barrett, voice of the Razorbacks. He'll be with us next Tuesday here on Halftime. Hey, I want to tell you about Cart Path Social. This is Northwest Arkansas's #1 destination for indoor golf. You'll find them at 122 Grant Place in Lowell. You can go give them a call at 479-619-9750 to get some information, and also to make a reservation for one of their bays where you can get up to 6 golfers inside. $50 per hour for a bay. That covers as many people as you want inside of it. One person plays 18 holes in 60 minutes. You bring your own beer to this establishment. They do have basic snacks and beverages available for sale. You can bring your own food in to eat as well. Don't need to be wearing golf attire. They have monthly memberships available, 50% off their golf, 15% off clothing, and you can bring your own clubs. They've got right or left-handed clubs for you there as well. That's Cart Path Social in Lowell, Northwest Arkansas's #1 destination for indoor golf. And stay with Halftime. We're back to wrap up hour number 1 in just a moment.
This is Halftime.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
The best Tex-Mex and even better service is at Joe's Grill and Cantina in Fort Smith. Every Friday is Fajita Friday, featuring their charbroiled steak and chicken. It's tender, full of flavor, and comes with all the fixings. Saturdays are for endless enchiladas with Joe's homemade enchilada sauce and all the beef, chicken, or cheese enchiladas you can eat. Joe's Grill and Cantina. Great Tex-Mex, even better service. 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Whether it's torque, horsepower, or just extreme work, diesel trucks do their job. But when your diesel truck needs maintenance or repair, it's time to head to Extreme Diesel. Everything from standard maintenance to extreme repairs, including injector testing. Extreme Diesel delivers. They have the tools and service for your Cummins, Duramax, or Power Stroke. You trust your truck to deliver on your needs, and you can trust your truck at Extreme Diesel. 6630 Alma Highway between Van Buren and Alma. Check them out on Facebook or give them a call at 651-3363. They're bilingual, now offering CP4 solutions for both Chevy and Ford.
Precision Garage Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all your garage door needs, including garage door repair and new garage doors and openers. Fully licensed and insured with the largest showroom in Northwest Arkansas at 1907 Town West Drive in Rogers and in Fort Smith at 416 North 10th Street. Call Precision Garage Door today at 844-PDS-DOOR or check them out online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Financing is available. Precision Garage Door, voted best garage door company of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Hey, Ty Richardson for Jam Mart. Jam Mart is always trying to save you money, and that's why they partner with Valero. Hook up your checking account to the Valero Pay Plus app, and you'll get 10 cents off a gallon, plus other special deals on holidays and more. Jam Mart and Valero, passing on the savings to you. Now available at the 3 Fort Smith Valero Jam Mart locations. And stop by any of the 6 Jam Mart locations in the area. Jam Mart, the leading gas station and convenience store in the region.
Man, I wish I knew you were here. We hear that every day at In Stock Parts, located off Highway 45 across from the cold storage in Fort Smith. Are you a maintenance technician, landscaper, farmer, or a do-it-yourselfer in need of bearings, belts, or roller chain? Or safety supplies like gloves, safety glasses, or earplugs? Maybe you need drill bits, tap and die sets, lubricants, or even a gas-powered pump or generator. Don't waste your time driving around. Stop by In Stock Parts, your industrial parts resource, or check them out online at InStockParts.com. In Stock Parts.
You will never find a boring old burger at Art's Barbecue and Burgers in Fort Smith. Try the Wild West Burger, topped with a hot link, jalapenos, and Art's hot sauce. The Brisket Burger, with tender brisket and caramelized onions on top of their hand-patted burger. Or the famous Art Attack, with house bacon, smoked ham, an onion ring, and a fried egg. There are 10 different burgers to choose from, and they're all $1 off every Saturday. Art's Barbecue Burgers and more. Rogers Avenue, next to Buddy's in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
his job to offer battle to bad men near and far. He conquered fear and he conquered hate. He turned dark night into day. He made his blazing saddle a torch to light the way.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Well, I think Christian C. Brooks, as I think we're going to call him throughout this show, and maybe throughout the remainder of the week, which is just another day, gave... You've watched Spinal Tap, C. Brooks, so that you know you're allowed to give a movie ranking 11 out of 10, but only for like one of your favorite movies. If you're going to rate Blazing Saddles out of 10 and you're allowed to go to 11, what are you going to give it?
Oh, I'll give it a 9.
That is a highly rated movie. Clay Henry, that is a highly rated movie from our friend C. Brooks here.
Well, he liked it. I mean, it's just, that I think that's...
It was so outlandish. It was so funny.
Yeah, your mood, how you go into something like that is important. You have to understand that it's about to be outrageously funny, just like what you just said, and then you're ready for all. And there's some subtlety to that particular movie that not everybody gets. And you, like I say, you have to be in a mood you got to hunt the one-liners and what they're worth.
Well, Dan in Mount Ida just sent one in about we could do a whole segment of authentic frontier gibberish, which maybe like a 2-minute segment because there's only so much gibberish that I know. We've got to figure out a new Brooks movie, not new because there is a new one coming out. Did you see this? There will be a Spaceballs 2, and in order to watch that, C. Brooks, you're probably going to need to watch the first Spaceballs. So. Has he done sequels before? I'm trying to think. I don't remember other sequels that he's done. The Producers, he's done 2 versions of that, but no sequel. Young Frankenstein will always be worth your time. I think Robin Hood Men in Tights is overlooked sometimes, but that's a quality movie. History of the World Part 2, very good. High Anxiety, very good as well. So I think you got about 6 that we could choose from here. And you got a lengthy, it's not even a weekend. It's like 4 days. Yeah, you get 2 extra days. Maybe you could do like a whole Mel Brooks long weekend. Who knows? I don't know what else you got planned.
I can definitely watch a movie Thursday and Friday. Nothing going on. I'll just be there with my dog. So.
And this is your movie companion too, is Asher.
Yeah.
That's good. All right. Well, by the end of tomorrow, I think we'll have something assigned to you properly here. But I'll tell you, like Clay, if I watch Young Frankenstein, I sit there literally giggling my ass off for the entire movie, and I've watched it like 20 times.
I'm not sure I've seen it.
But black and white. It's Peter Boyle playing the monster. You got Gene Wilder playing Dr. Frankenstein. You got Madeline Kahn. You got Terry Garr. Man, I had a crush on Terry Garr.
Terry Garr.
Absolutely.
Yep.
What? Knockers? Never mind. That's another one of the. Yeah, that's right, Chris. He sent that one in as well. And you want to go for a roll in Zahay. Yeah. So any one of these movies you're going to love. But C. Brooks, I tell you, Young Frankenstein will haunt you until the end of your life. We move into hour number 2 of Halftime. No guests. You and us. That is me, Phil Elson, the one and only Clay Henry, and C. Brooks. 877-377-6963 for calls and texts on the McClarty Daniel hotline. And we're back in just a moment.
Let's see. Leaky faucet Tuesday. Water flooding the yard. Better put that down for the middle of the month when the bills aren't due.
Honey, what are you doing?
Planning our plumbing problems, of course.
You can't plan our plumbing problems, but you should plan our plumber.
What do you mean?
Like all important contacts, I keep Westark Plumbing in my phone. They're always there when we need them, and they don't overcharge since they know we don't plan our plumbing problems. Here, honey, here's their number.
646-5151. Thanks, babe.
Westark Plumbing. We keep you flowing.
Come out to the 2024 Freedom Fest, July 4th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. in Greenwood.
This year's festival is packed with craft and artisan vendors, food trucks, kids' activities, and live music. See special performances by Mike Ryan, The Bynum Project, Mr. Cabbagehead and the Screaming Radishes, and Millennial Jukebox. And at dusk, witness the largest fireworks display in the region. Freedom Fest 2024 in Greenwood. Hosted by Greenwood A&P Commission.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Summer camp, vacation, travel baseball, repeat. Family reunion, lake time, I'm beat. A parent in the summertime is a glorified chauffeur, but if you find yourself in a fender bender, you'll need a good lawyer. I'm Jackie Mock. With 12 years of experience in insurance and car wreck cases, I can help get you back on the road for more summer fun. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
Now we will share a lifetime of the fondest memories.
Make dinner good tonight with Hardee's new chicken tender platters. Crunchy, juicy tenders, all dipped in buttermilk and hand-breaded. Served with garlic toast, fries, slaw, your choice of dipping sauce, and an ice-cold beverage. At Hardee's, dinner's ready when you are with new hand-breaded chicken platters. Delicious, down to the very last crumb. Hardee's, goodness in the making. Order ahead on the Hardee's app. Available for a limited time at participating restaurants.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, lots of sunshine. Our high temperatures this afternoon will hang on to the middle 90s, mainly clear sky tonight, overnight low near 75. Sunshine with a slight chance of showers or storms Wednesday, our high on Wednesday, into the upper 90s. And then for the 4th of July, chance of isolated showers or storms are high on Thursday in the upper 90s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Forest Grain Incorporated, committed to setting the standard of excellence since 1936. KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 58 days. Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that would respect it. If I'm all right. Well, can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're gonna go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Well, take it to the house.
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. My hot dog. Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no mock at halftime.
For one Razorback.
It's vintage Matt Jones.
1, 2, 3. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
Back on halftime in hour number 2 on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Beautiful hot day across Arkansas. Phil Elson along with the one and only Hall of Famer Clay Henry and C. Brooks. Christian Johnston is holding down our studios. There are no guests in this second hour. It is just you and us. 877-377-6963 for calls and for texts. Usually in about 15 minutes, we would be talking with Alyssa Orange from Pig Trail Nation. But Clay, she said she is on the way to pick up her father at the airport at XNA this afternoon. I think they already picked him up this morning and are headed to Jasper. So not a lot of cell phone service in and around Jasper. So I'm sure she'll be having a great time. That means she must be seeing, what, the Glory Hole? That's not too far from Hawksbill Crag, too, correct?
That you've got it. Yeah, Buffalo River. I spent a few days there when our power went out after the tornado. We We got out of here after about 2 days of misery with no showers, no electricity, no air conditioning, no water, because we're on well water, and you got to have a pump, you got to have electricity for a pump. We went between Jasper and Gilbert in a luxury cabin over there for a couple of days. That's a pretty part of our state, just gorgeous. And of course, there's thousands and thousands of people on the Buffalo River as we speak. This isn't the time of year that you want to. I mean, I'm talking about July 4th holiday. This is not when you want to be on the Buffalo
If
River.
you want to stay away from crowds, that's not the place to be.
Yeah, a luxury cabin up on a hillside where you can say, yeah, they're down there somewhere.
Right. We're standing out on Hawksbill Crag listening for the sounds of bears down below, or listening for the sounds of drunk floaters down below somewhere.
There's some of those.
There's a few of them, that's for sure. I've never been to the Glory Hole, and I think that might be a place to visit because something tells me it's just a little bit cooler in there than it will be on the outside.
Yeah. If you want something cool, you want to go to the White River, and that's what you're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that water is, it comes from under the dam. It's a tailwater, and so those constant releases, as long as you're in, say, the upper 25 miles, you're going to be 55-degree water. I mean, you can just dangle if you're in a kayak, you can just kind of dangle your arms over the side into the water, and it just cools your whole body. It's just a different experience. It's a different temperature or you can do what I'm going to do. I'm leaving Thursday. I'm going to Colorado and Wyoming for about 12 or 14 days.
Yeah, get a little bit higher up in elevation, and it'll be cooler with every step you take.
Yeah, for the time we're out there, from when I pick up Jean Ann, she's going to fly. She doesn't want to do a 17-hour, 15-hour, but we're going to go to I guess the closest real town is Steamboat Springs, but really on the other side of the divide. It's not going to get above 73 degrees for the whole time we're out there. Be in that area for a few days, and then over at Snowmass Village for a few days. 10 total.
Got Casey in Ozark says Blanchard Springs Caverns. That's
Same
a good
deal.
place to go cool off. Yeah,
Cool
Glory
off.
Hole too. Exactly. 877-377-6963 calls and texts on the McClarty Daniel hotline. Yeah, Ted, that's what they call it. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? That's exactly what they call it. Jerry texted in, says, who cares about soccer, not an American sport? I don't know. I think there's actually more people than you think care about soccer in the United States. And in 2 years, the biggest event in the world is happening here in the United States. So whether you're a fan or not of the sport, it is a major thing that even people, yes, in this country, Jerry, do pay attention to. Even if it's not happening here in the United States, they'll be watching EPL and Champions League. Our friend Matt Jones watches a lot of it. I got my eyes on last night's 1-0 loss, and I don't know. It was a disappointing outcome, that's for sure. I just expected a few more scoring opportunities. Clay, it just didn't seem like they had many chances to score.
Yeah, first of all, you played a great side. Uruguay is terrific, and it was going to be a tough match all the way through. Them not going through was because of the result against Panama and playing a man down. I mean, that you thump a guy in the noggin with your hands or fist, it's a red card. I mean, it is that when you start playing soccer, and these guys started playing when they're 5 or 6, and they played it all their lives, and every match they've ever been, that's a red card. So they're down one of their best players in this match because of that. But basically the result puts you up against the wall starting out. They didn't have a lot of scoring chances, but I thought they competed. Matt and I talked last night. Matt Jones, he was there, and I think he enjoyed the match. And it's about the competition and the skill level, and it's not always about the wins and losses, and or the number of goals. And that was the equivalent of a football game. It's 7-0, and I watched those before too.
I saw a 7-3 football game last year that was pretty dull. The Mississippi State loss.
So when I watch a soccer game, it isn't about the goals. It's about the one-on-one battles, the skill level, the physicality, the intensity. And I saw that last night, and I saw the way they competed against each other. I've watched soccer for really the last 40 years with a different mindset, because our oldest daughter, played all the way through college. She even played after college, and we've taken father-daughter trips to watch soccer games. We went up and saw Messi earlier this year in Kansas City, same venue as Matt was, Arrowhead Stadium. It's those are special times, and when you learn the game from watching a daughter play at a high level, you're interested in it. So I get it for somebody that's never been interested in it. There's not a reason for them to be. Well, there was for me, because I watched my daughter, and then you learn the game. And it isn't about number of goals and scoring. So I've got a 18-month-old lab crying here because she wants out.
I got to have somebody to root for. Like I have to feel like I've got a team that I want to root for. That's a reason why I haven't watched too much Major League Baseball in the last few years, because the team that I've always been most interested in hasn't been worth my time, and I want to value my time. But now they are worth watching in a little bit, so I'm watching a few more games. That's the Pittsburgh Pirates. With soccer, I don't have a team worth rooting for. I grew up watching indoor soccer. Pittsburgh had an indoor soccer team in the MISL, which I think hasn't been around in probably 25, 30 years. They were called the Pittsburgh Spirit, and they were really popular. I wouldn't put them at the level of the Penguins then, but not far off of it. People went to the games, and we all played soccer growing up too. So, but it's different. It's different. Like at Pittsburgh, I'm not going to root for the Riverhounds, which is a Division II league essentially. So I'll watch when the USA plays. I'm interested in that. I got somebody to root for there. I'll watch Arkansas. Got somebody to root for there in college soccer. It's just, that's kind of how I watch sports. I mean, I can watch almost any NFL game. And it's not because I've got a fantasy team that I got to root for everybody. It's really just NFL football is just easy to watch. Yeah. And it's a national conversation.
So I have a good friend that grew up in Arkansas, and he's lived in Colorado for the last, 20 years. And he's become, a Colorado Avalanche fan. I mean, when he's here sometimes, like, in the early summer, he might be here visiting in our house, and all at once he takes the remote, and we've got, the Stanley Cup playoffs on. And I look at him, I said, we're not watching that here. He goes, yeah, we are. And I mean, he doesn't move. He's riveted for 3 hours, through 3 periods. You can talk to him during the intermission, but while they're playing, it is intense. But I don't get that feeling. But I guess if you know every player and every situation, and I still haven't figured hockey out, and he's the same way watching soccer. Mm-hmm. Although he says he's a Liverpool fan, he travels to England a lot for business. I tell you that Matt Jones has become obsessed with soccer. I don't mean
obsessed is the correct word. Yes,
he is obsessed with it, and he's the proper person to talk to my daughter about the different idiosyncrasies of the different countries and the different clubs and the players and the moves. And I'm talking about when I don't guess they're free agent, they're sold, right? Mm-hmm. Players are sold or on loan, or however you want to call it. You pay a fee and you get that player for a number of years, but then you give them back. I don't know if I understand all that, but Matt Jones does. I mean, I guarantee you, he knew all the players on both teams last night.
Well, I don't think Matt has. I think he watches differently than I watch sports. As a professional athlete, I think he would. I watch to root for somebody. That's my mindset. Growing up as a fan, I know Matt has athletes that he really enjoys and might root for in a certain sense. But what he's watching, and he didn't watch too much baseball, but obviously he'll watch as much football as he can, loves the NBA, college basketball, and gets into soccer. It's the athleticism, I think, is what he's really interested in. He'll talk about watching the best of the best. That's why he was watching some of the NHL Stanley Cup finals. And I think he's got a thing for speed. And the thing about watching soccer that I actually find pretty interesting, It's like you watch a football game and you think you're watching a running back just dive into the line. It's like he sees a little bit of a hole there. He's trying to maneuver his way through that, and he sees that. The deft handling of the ball in tight little spaces with the ability to just shift it from one foot to the other, or use the back of the foot, or find somebody to your right or to your left that maybe nobody thought you could see. You know, I think people focus too much on, like you said, the idea of scoring chances, but you got to score to win. But there are little subtleties about watching that sport that I watched last night that I think are fascinating.
Yeah, there's also this feeling that, okay, we're America and we should be able to field one of the world's best soccer teams. We're not, and I'm over that. And when I think of Matt Jones, it's obvious to me that he didn't grow up playing soccer. He's become a soccer fan, but if all of our Matt Jones, the best athletes, in our respective states, cities in our country, if they grew up playing soccer as they do in Germany, or you name the country, our soccer team would be world class. But just think about what position would Matt have played? Well, he might be like the Holland guy that plays for Norway and led the English Premier League in goals. And I mean, a 6'4" guy that can run like a deer. I mean, Matt Jones would be that guy, or he'd be the best goalie in the world. Just think about Matt as a goalie, with his quickness and speed and his hands and just natural. I mean, there's not, you can talk about Darren McFadden, you can talk about Matt Jones, who are the greatest athletes in Arkansas history. Clyde Scott. We're talking those three. That's three of our best ever. But they didn't play soccer. But what would they have been like as a soccer player? Well, that's what our country lacks.
That's true. Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. All right, we got a break. We'll be back. Calls and texts coming up. 877-377-6963 is our McClarty Daniel hotline, and we'll be back in just a moment.
This is Halftime.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insights and analysis?
Hell yes.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations. Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sacalé, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. Bet online. The game starts here.
This song hit number 2 without one guitar. Gary Wright traveled with George Harrison to India for spiritual enlightenment and wrote Dream Weaver, describing God as infinite love and compassion, seeing him through the trials of the night. Of the 330 million gods of Hinduism, not one will get you to the morning light, but only through the blood of Jesus Christ. Satan is a master deceiver, weaving many into make-believers. I'm Pastor Eve from Woodland. Think about it.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and hitthatline.com. Have you been to Swark Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swark Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swark Liquor, 864 East Collin Ray Drive into Queen, Arkansas. Swark Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you. Are you ready to give your family the best 4th of July experience yet? USA Fireworks wants to make that happen with the USA Fireworks Bangin' Giveaway. USA Fireworks has helped Arkansans more than 30 years. Go to hitthatline.com/USA Fireworks and enter for your chance to win a fireworks show worth $2,000 retail. Again, hitthatline.com/USA Fireworks. For more information about wholesale prices, go to usafireworks.org.
This video is
Cause somebody done me wrong. Think for a minute that I'm gonna sit around and sing some old sad song. I believe it's half full, not a half empty glass. Every day I wake up knowing it could be my last for a long time. I'm here for a good time.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Clay, your favorite musician here is a record setter. You obviously knew this from about, 2 weeks ago at Kyle Field? 110,905 at Kyle Field for the George Strait concert. Most ever in the United States for a concert that sold tickets. I think there have been some concerts in Central Park, New York, that are free, that have drawn more than that. But as far as actually buying tickets, George Strait's top of the list.
Showed up at Woodstock. I mean, that's true. Know. I heard 250,000 or what, but that's for
a festival. It's for a single.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
because
single
the
musician.
bands kept changing and people stayed there for days and days. I guess. Yeah. That would have been gross to hang out in something like that. One thing I want to correct, I heard somebody say, well, that's the most Aggies ever in one spot. Well, they weren't Aggies. There were probably some Aggies, maybe a lot of Aggies.
There were a lot of Aggies that were in Omaha then. Wasn't that in the middle of the College World Series?
Correct. But my point is that when King George plays, they come from everywhere. And his fans buy tickets from everywhere. And there were a lot of, that was a lot of University of Texas fans would be there too. He is a Texas fan. He calls himself, a UT guy. In fact, he opened up the concert and he says, this is the loudest cheer a UT guy ever got in his stadium. And I know that would be true.
Do that the day after the whole Jim Schlossnagle thing came to an end. We'll see if they've gotten the same answer.
No, I don't think. He might not have said it.
Let's take a phone call. Charlie's here on the McClarty Daniel Hotline. Hi, Charlie. What's going on?
What's up, guys? The competitive juices are flowing.
So Texas and Oklahoma are officially in the SEC, right? Isn't that kind of okay? Well, I knew they were coming, but okay. Oh, all right. I have a question. I know Texas is going to come up in here thinking they're somebody, and that they're going to try to run everything, right? So, because I know Mike pointed this out yesterday, but hey, Clay, didn't they get mad? Am I correct by this? Didn't Texas people get mad because I don't remember who it was, but somebody was putting the horns down on them. I don't know. Was it a basketball game? I can't remember. Didn't they get all upset over that?
Yeah, they get mad for any kind of sporting event that's a conference meet that that fans or players do that, and they were getting 15-yard penalties if if a player would do that during the game, Big 12 games. There has been no talk that will happen in the SEC.
Well, I personally do not have an issue with the horns down thing, but my thing is if you're going to do the horns down thing, so the Texas people like to put the horns up in your face, right? So what's the difference between us putting the horn? I don't see. It's just to me, it's just competitive sports.
Charlie, you're preaching to the choir.
Yeah, it's like I don't get it. So you're cool with putting that in my face, but when I point it down, it's like I'm disrespecting you?
I mean,
what are we doing?
They're saying it's like you just flipped them the bird. Well, it's not. It's not.
No, it's not. You guys just told me you love me. Just put the thumb out. I don't know. Jesus Christ. I mean, come on. I don't understand.
Charlie,
what?
This is as fired up as I've ever heard you here, Charlie.
No, you've heard me, Phil, but I am super excited. I will say this. Phil, how old is your son? And he in his 14 or 15 or so?
No, he just turned 12.
Okay, so he was not around the last time the last college football game came out, really. No, he wasn't old enough to start really playing it. See, Unit, I don't know if you're going to get into this, but I have kept so many receipts for coaches that used to kick my living you-know-what. This is going to be Coach Tuna, okay? I am ready for this video game to come out because I know
there's only one Coach Tuna. His name is Bill Parcells. You can't be that. Sorry, Charlie.
He's the Hall of Famer. He's the greatest ever.
You can't be. There is no Junior Tuna either in that case.
Darn. Well, I'm going to be I'm just telling you, I am coming to rack up and kick some people's butts. I even saw Courtney Mims tweet about this. Like she don't know what she can do with herself until this game comes out. So I'm like, all these people are coming back.
When is it coming out?
When is it? July 19th.
I was going to say, it better come out this month. I mean, I feel like that's 2 weeks late. It should come out before SEC Media Days so that everybody can talk about it leading up to it.
Oh, yeah, it's coming out, Phil. It's coming out. And guess what? The Tuna pre-ordered the bigger package so I can get it on the 16th. So I'm going to be getting myself ready to kick some you-know-what. And I want some advice here. Because I'm in this dynasty league, got some money involved, and I can't pick the Razorbacks.
You are in the wrong place asking for advice then in this. But go ahead. I'll see if I can make your friends some money for them.
I was thinking, I'm thinking of picking a smaller school because everybody's going to kind of go that route, and we're going to work our way up. I'm thinking Liberty. I don't think anyone's picked Liberty yet. Would that be a good option? Because if the Tuna's going to start off at a small school, hey, 1-star school, I might start there and see if I can work my way up and, make it to the big leagues.
I can see you're going to eventually transfer your way through. Like this game's got a transfer portal, doesn't it? If you're doing dynasty mode and you make a player, you eventually can work your way. Yep. Sure, you can work your way from Liberty to what would be the next step up from Liberty? Because that's
like a
pretty
3-star school.
Pretty good Oklahoma, group of 5.
Kansas, maybe. Anyways, y'all have a good one.
Well, Charlie's ready for football season, Clay, but I think he's more ready for the video game.
Don't you love it when he goes second person?
Charlie goes third person more than Ricky Henderson did.
Yeah, the Tuna does this. The Tuna's going to do that. Just like I like it. The third person, you're right. Yeah, but do you remember the first Arkansas competition in an SEC, any kind of competition in the SEC? Do you remember what it was?
I don't. Now, didn't football kind of start last?
Yeah, it was last, and
that's backwards.
So, well, they just couldn't get the schedules changed. They could, do the spring sports and stuff. But the very first SEC, like championship that was settled, as Arkansas was a member of the SEC, was the SEC cross country championship.
Huh.
John McDonald took a team to Athens, and I guess the women went too. But Coach Broyles is standing by Roy Kramer at the finish line, and there's a hill. I think it's a golf course probably, and you couldn't see anything. And then up over the little rise comes two Arkansas runners. You can see the Razorback on their chest, and Coach Broyles is applauding. Roy Kramer is like, y'all are one of those is gonna win. And then another one popped up. It's a Razorback. Another one popped up. They scored a perfect 15. They got first, second, third, fourth, fifth. That's the way Arkansas came into the SEC.
It's kind of still how they do it in the SEC too, as far as track
Yeah,
is concerned, and heck, even nationally now.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, but that was pretty cool to be the first one.
877-377-6963 is our McClarty Daniel hotline. We are brought to you by the Stadium Shop on Razorback next to Baum. It's almost football season, 58 days away from kickoff against UAPB. So make sure you're loading up on your hog gear right now. And the Stadium Shop on Razorback has everything you need involving Razorbacks, whether your needs are tailgating, game day, man cave, or dorm room. It doesn't get more Razorback than the Stadium Shop. They're local, family, alumni owned and operated. That's Robert, Elizabeth, and Matt. Call them at 479-782-3486. Even easier to remember it is 479 Stadium, or just stop by the Stadium Shop on Razorback and tell them ESPN Arkansas sent you. Go online to shoponrazorback.com. We'll be back, more halftime after this quick break.
This is Halftime. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think you could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text LIKE to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text LIKE to 42424. That's LIKE to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
This is Halftime.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. And you've got beer and football, nothing is hard, until the other team scores. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus. Copyright 2023 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
It seems like everything is more expensive this year, but replacing your AC doesn't have to be. If you need to replace your AC this summer, before you commit, price check with Paschal. You can save money and use the professionals to replace your system. Enjoy the peace of mind knowing you chose the best option for your home. Visit gopaschal.com and with just a few clicks, see how much you can save with the Paschal price check. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Nothing says summer fun like fishing with a Thill Bobber with the family. America's favorite floats by Thill are available in a variety of sizes and colors. These premium balsa wood floats are made by the thousands at Pradco in Fort Smith, Arkansas. They are great at detecting the slightest bites by fish and work great in tandem with crickets and redworms. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle shops everywhere. America's favorite floats by Thill.
The tires on your vehicle go round and round, but when they don't, go to Van Alma Tire. They have tires in their name. That's their specialty. Van Alma Tire is all about tires. They have all the name brands and private labels available for you and in stock. So when it comes to getting tires for your ride, it's worth the drive. And financing is available. Ask for details. Whatever your tire need, check out Van Alma Tires on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Ready to get you rolling on new tires at Van Alma Tire.
Whether it's torque, horsepower, or just extreme work, diesel trucks do their job. But when your diesel truck needs maintenance or repair, it's time to head to Extreme Diesel. Everything from standard maintenance to extreme repairs, including injector testing. Extreme Diesel delivers. They have the tools and service for your Cummins, Duramax, or Power Stroke. You trust your truck to deliver on your needs, and you can trust your truck at Extreme Diesel, 6630 Alma Highway between Van Buren and Alma. Check them out on Facebook or give them a call at 651-3363. They're bilingual, now offering CP4 solutions for both Chevy and Ford.
The best Tex-Mex and even better service is at Joe's Grill and Cantina in Fort Smith. Every Friday is Fajita Friday, featuring their charbroiled steak and chicken. It's tender, full of flavor, and comes with all the fixings. Saturdays are for endless enchiladas with Joe's homemade enchilada sauce and all the beef, chicken, or cheese enchiladas you can eat. Joe's Grill and Cantina. Great Tex-Mex, even better service. 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Baby, that he is fast asleep. He's just a little plaything. Why not wake him up? Cute little baby, little feet, little toes. Now he's coming to me. Crawl across the kitchen floor.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Clay Henry is filling in for Matt Jones through this week. We have no shows Thursday or Friday, and Clay's got a big trip planned that he's leaving for on Thursday. Clay, I see it looks like A&M's going to be able to keep most of their best baseball players that went into the portal briefly after Jim Schlossnagel's exit to Texas. I don't know if he expected a lot of that team to follow him to Texas, but I don't think anybody is. Gavin Grahovic, the SEC Freshman of the Year, and Jace Laviolette, who should be a front runner for Golden Spikes next season, both announced they're staying in College Station. So I would assume if those guys are staying, then anybody else that went into the portal from A&M, because the coaching change will stay as well. And I mean, that team might be just as good next year as they were this year.
I think they will be. But we don't know how he'll handle in-game management. I've seen very talented rosters go belly up because of poor coaching decisions and, shuffle them around, like whatever. It has to do with how you're going to work out players and, how you preserve their arms. And it's a long season. So we'll see if he has that knack.
Well, they're going to have the talent, but your point is very well made. The idea that just because you have the talent and you have a first-year head coach and not a coach that's been to Omaha 6 times with 2 different programs, that'll be fascinating to see what works there. Arkansas did get the commitment of potentially the top pitcher that was in the portal at the moment, left-hander Zach Root from East Carolina. He was their number 2 starter behind Trey Yescavage, who was going to be going in the draft, maybe top 10. Clay, they have, and I'm assuming Aiden Jimenez, who's coming from Oregon State. He was supposed to be a starting pitcher for the Beavers this past season, but an injury kept him from making the mound once. So just the idea that he was supposed to be a starting pitcher for Oregon State this next year, you brought in literally an entire weekend rotation from the transfer portal. You got Landon Beidelshees, who was the frontline starter for Ohio State, Root, who was the number 2 pitcher at ECU, and Aiden Jimenez, who was good as a freshman, and we'll see how he is as a redshirt sophomore next year. You know, that I think for a while they were just getting guys out of the portal that were hitters, position players. Now you got a full rotation.
Yeah, then also you bring back Gabe Gackle, who is kind of penciled in as a starter. I know this, that just because they say we like him as a starter doesn't mean he won't be the closer. Just Dave Van Horn understands that those last 5 or 6 outs are tougher than those first, 4 outs, 5 outs, whatever, to start the game. So it's how you close the game, not the way you start it. He'll be important no matter what his role is, but they seem to lengthen him out as the year went along, and he could be a starter. He might be your Friday night guy because he's terrific. They've got some other good pitchers coming back. We'll see what happens. The draft is what we got, another couple of days to go.
The 14th is when it begins.
Yeah. Okay, another week. But yeah, it's to see what happens with all their guys, and also, there's some guys that were kind of on the injury list at the end of the year. How will they do coming back? I think their pitching will still be strong. And I think that you're going to see a little bit different, potentially offensive lineup. They're going to be able to score runs, I think. I don't ever focus on batting average or home run. I look at runs and RBIs, and that's where they've got to kind of rebound to form. Nate Thompson's teams have always scored runs. They didn't last year, and that will make a huge difference in the stress level of the pitching. I mean, every game was tight. Every game in the 5th, 6th, 7th inning was on the line. Rarely did they run off and hide from anybody, and even in midweek games they seemed to be, they were never in a developmental stage in midweek games. They were trying to win them.
Thinking of some of the other pitchers that you could look as starters, maybe a Tate McGuire, who's really doing well in the Cape. I wonder if Colin Fisher's ready to be a starter next year. He's had that brace surgery, and it's the same surgery Dylan Carter had. And while Dylan had his velocity back, he still was just a little bit off. I think next year rusty. Carter could be really big. But that makes me iffy on Fisher as a starter. Maybe Hunter Dietz, maybe Adam Hatchman's able to start next year. And then, of course, you mentioned Gabe Gackle, Ben Bybee.
Bybee, who I would expect to make a jump.
A lot of options as starters, but you do have at least 2 guys here in Beidelshees and Root that would have been the Friday night guy if they would have stayed on that current campus. And then looking at the other transfers, I mean, they've put together, they have every position outside of catcher. I know there's 2 catchers that are incoming freshmen that probably don't get drafted, and then outside of that, you only have Ryder Helfrich returning. So I would expect maybe a catcher out of the portal sometime.
You would expect Helfrich to make a jump. He did not recognize the slider for the better part of the year and was jumping on inside pitches to the point that his best hits were foul by 20 feet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was so quick on the inside pitches that he couldn't keep them fair. And it's like, well, what's that about? Well, it's just about timing and recognizing pitches and understand. You've got to you got to hold your bat back on those inside pitches. You can't drop the head on it that quick. I expect him to make a major jump because he's got the bat speed that you look at. That's next level.
Yeah, just Nolan Souza and Ryder Helfrich just could take
both of those guys
massive steps forward next year.
Both of those guys, yeah.
Take a call from Greg in Farmington, who's on the McClarty Daniel hotline. Hi, Greg. What's going on?
Hey, guys. I think we're getting a great baseball class coming in. That's not the original reason I was calling. You were talking about soccer and everything, and then you had the texter say he didn't care about it because it wasn't an American sport. You know, I think it has more to do with having access to it and watching it, because this past season, I'm getting ready to go into my 5th year as the PA announcer for the Razorback hockey team, and I've watched more hockey this last season than I've watched the first 54 years of my life.
Hockey is addicting. If you have a team that you care about, once you get into the playoffs, and even like leading up to the playoffs, like the month or two leading up to it, hockey's addicting. And there really is. Like, there is nothing like being at an NHL game. The speed of that sport, if you're up close, it's unlike anything.
Oh, it's amazing. And volleyball is another sport, because 7 years ago, I became the public PA announcer for the Fayetteville Bulldogs volleyball team. And I've gradually started watching more volleyball because Fayetteville has a lot of girls that have gone Division I. I know we got a couple of girls out at Washington. Coach Jessica Phelan, her daughter is getting ready to go into her 2nd year at Florida State. And so naturally, I'm keeping up with the volleyball, keeping up with the Fayetteville girls. So it really has a lot to do with people becoming interested in a sport if they have a connection.
Yeah, I think you need the connection and just attending a sporting event that you've never attended before may actually do that for you. Like, I know a lot of people that I see, at least on social media, that like to talk about this. They got hooked on F1 auto racing through the Netflix series that has come out. And I don't know anything about F1, but if I watch that series and I'd get hooked on it, man, I'd probably pick a couple of racers that I'd be interested in. I've never been a NASCAR fan, just not into it. But if I went to a race, if I was there amongst 100,000 people, maybe I'd get hooked on it. I don't know. Maybe it'd be the same about going to a George Strait concert too, Clay, because I still haven't been hooked on George Strait.
Yeah,
not yet.
I mean, if you like the smell of warm beer and fried chicken, you'd like NASCAR.
Sounds like baseball games every once in a while. Well, minus the fried chicken, just the leftover hot dogs. But yes, the stale beer, I know what that smelled like. I know what that tastes like too.
You know what it tastes like. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Not very good. Not very good. Yeah, Greg, appreciate you, man. Thanks for calling. I'm going to go to a game today too. I got tickets to see the Travelers at Dickie Stevens, and like as I've gotten a little bit older, I have. It's not that I've lost my taste for beer, but it does play some tricks on my stomach that I'd like to avoid. But I will tonight. The first thing I'll do when I get to the ballpark and go down the right field line to the beer garden, and I will get myself a big, tall Blue Wing. Which is brewed by Flyway Brewery. If you've never had Flyway, it's delicious, worth it. It's the only blueberry flavored beer I've ever had, but it doesn't have too much of a blueberry flavor to it. And that's my baseball beer. Might be the only one I have tonight, but that's what I do at the ball game. And you got to drink that sucker while it's cold, because I will tell you, I don't think there's anything worse than a warm, stale beer that's been warmed by your palm in 95 degrees for an hour and a half.
I was working at the fly shop yesterday, and a guy came in with his, I think, grandsons. But he was my age, and then right off the bat, he recognized my voice from the radio, and he goes, we grew up playing baseball against each other. And then somebody else came in, and the next thing I know, we're talking Ray Winder Field and buying beer for Hook Slide Bradshaw. You've heard those stories, I'm sure.
I've heard all the Hook Slide stories, yep.
Yeah.
Brad, best friend you ever had. For those who don't know, I don't know if he was all there, but he was also quite drunk and would wear, jean shorts? And he would put down a popcorn box on the concrete in front of the bleachers, and people would pay him in beer to slide into the popcorn box dozens of times a night.
And it wouldn't take long for him to be drunker, and it wouldn't take long for the right hip of his pants to be ripped out, and an obvious strawberry being developed on his right hip, and he just kept on going. Yeah. Now he came from the state hospital, came through a door that's out there, right on the left field foul line, I think. Phil's the way I remember it, that they would come through, and that part of the outfield was actually owned by the state hospital.
Yep.
And so they had free
had their own
admission.
little gate there too for the state.
Yep.
For those who wonder, what state hospital is the state mental hospital?
Yes.
And so every once in a while, they had their own bleachers out there down the left field line. They had their own entrance. They never came around, other fans or anything.
Except Bradshaw.
That's right. That's where Bradshaw would sit. And man, that's one of the things that makes the stories about Ray Winder Field like, really? The team played there? Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
they absolutely did.
Yeah.
All right, we've got a break. We've got a phone caller on hold, but we can't take the call because we are right up against the break. We'll get to the phones and wrap up hour number 2 right after this.
This is halftime.
Walk-Ons is always a win, whether it's for a post-game celebration, drinks with the crew, or an easy weeknight dinner. Walk-Ons has you covered. Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers and cocktails. Dig into their mouth-watering menu items like po' boys, gumbo, and voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salads. Find your nearest location in Rogers, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Conway, and Little Rock, or order online or in the app. Walk-On Sports Bistro for the win.
Come out to the 2024 Freedom Fest, July 4th from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. in Greenwood. This year's festival is packed with craft and artisan vendors, food trucks, kids' activities, and live music. See special performances by Mike Ryan, The Bynum Project, Mr. Cabbagehead and the Screaming Radishes, and Millennial Jukebox. And at dusk, witness the largest fireworks display in the region. Freedom Fest 2024 in Greenwood. Hosted by Greenwood A&P Commission.
Man, I wish I knew you were here. We hear that every day at In-Stock Parts, located off Highway 45 across from the cold storage in Fort Smith. Are you a maintenance technician, landscaper, farmer, or a do-it-yourselfer in need of bearings, belts, or roller chain? Or safety supplies like gloves, safety glasses, or earplugs? Maybe you need drill bits, tap and die sets, lubricants, or even a gas-powered pump or generator. Don't waste your time driving around. Stop by In-Stock Parts, your industrial parts resource, or check them out online at InStockParts.com. In-Stock Parts.
When you need tough and paint just isn't enough, check out River City Coatings in Van Buren. When it comes to your metals, paint can peel and crack over time. Whether it's your patio furniture, rims or trims on your automobile, or heavy equipment, no one has time for a redo. Powder coating provides the toughness you need. Preserve your investment with powder coating from River City Coatings. River City Coatings, certified John Deere, Caterpillar, ISO 9001, Packer, and UL provider of tough. River City Coatings, 471-7675 or online at rivercitycoatings.com.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Z Road, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
I know we're always on the go, heading to Fayetteville, Little Rock, Oklahoma City, and you need a place to fill up. But not just for gas. I need snacks, drinks, and a restroom that doesn't make me throw up. That's why my new favorite pit stop is Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue on the way out of town. I can't stop by without getting something from their hot box or a fresh made burger. That's Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith.
Precision Garage Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all your garage door needs, including garage door repair and new garage doors and openers. Fully licensed and insured with the largest showroom in Northwest Arkansas at 1907 Town West Drive in Rogers and in Fort Smith at 416 North 10th Street. Call Precision Garage Door today at 844-PDS-DOOR or check them out online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Financing is available. Precision Garage Door, voted best garage door company of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
The road that meets the road that goes to my house, and how the green grows there. We got special boots for me to pack in my house, and it's careful when I'm there. Say a couple words of crooked French Canadian, and then he was got shot running the jet. And how his guts were all suspended in his fingers, and how he held them.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
And Hall of Famer Clay Henry is filling in for Matt Jones throughout this week. Matt was at last night's U.S. soccer loss to Uruguay. And let's go to the McClarty Daniel Hotline. Jerry, thank you for holding through the break. Appreciate that very much. How you doing today?
Well, it's Terry. But you were talking about NASCAR. You've got to go to a NASCAR race.
Well, tell me which course should I go to?
There's only one. The world's fastest speedway, Talladega. First time I went there, I was watching Mark Martin, Dale Earnhardt, not Junior, but Dale Earnhardt, Morgan Shepherd. And before they waved the green flag on the first lap, we were sitting on the backside. You want to talk about SEC rednecks sitting on one side. We were loving it. And this beautiful woman said, it's better than I'll just leave it at that. And when 43 cars came by on the back stretch at 200 miles an hour, it took your breath away. She gave me a cigarette afterwards. You've got to go to Talladega, dude.
Well, it's sometimes you end up not far away from Talladega if you're headed towards if you're headed anywhere to the two SEC schools that are in Alabama. So I had a first girlfriend was a big NASCAR fan. Her favorite racer, Jerry, was Jeff Bodine, and I have to remember how to say his name properly because she hated when I put the emphasis on Bo. That's how big of a fan she was. Her favorite place to go for a race was Bristol, Tennessee, which is a short track. It'd be a lot smaller than Talladega.
That's the Monster Mile.
So you even know all of the nicknames of these tracks.
Oh yeah.
Well,
it's all well worth it. You've got to go. All right, you always challenge C Unit to watch a movie. I challenge you to go to NASCAR Talladega first race of the season.
All right, it's a little bit different than a usual halftime homework episode, Jerry, because renting a movie is like $3.50. Maybe going to Talladega, that might cost a little bit extra, and I got to find the time to do it. But it is NASCAR season, right? So maybe I can. Maybe I'll head out there sometime in a month or so. But I already got plans to go to the Hall of Fame. Isn't there a track somewhere in New York? It's a road race.
Pocono?
I think. No, not Pocono. That's Pennsylvania. There's one is it Glendale, New York? I know that there's been a race in New York before. So maybe we'll find somewhere up there to go to a NASCAR race too. But Jerry, I agree. I think if I went to a race, I'm not going to say I'll turn on the races every Sunday, but I'd probably get into a little bit. I'm pretty sure about that. All it takes sometimes is one trip to one of these things that you don't think you'd be interested in. And if it's the right atmosphere, if it's the right experience, Clay, I see that with people that come visit me and go to college baseball games, and they don't really care much about baseball. But when they get in that atmosphere, how can't you love it? And then the next thing you know, they're watching games on a weekend. Sometimes it just takes going there to see it in person.
Yeah, I had a brother that had an RV, and he went to all the NASCAR races, and he thought it was. He also went to the Indianapolis 500, or the Brickyard race, that was part of NASCAR. So I drove by Talladega on the way back from Athens for Arkansas, the last Arkansas-Georgia game, and it was going on.
Yeah.
And you're right on the interstate, and you're looking out there, and there's just a mass of, fires going, around the RVs, the Weber grills set up everywhere, and they're burning stuff, getting ready to cook some yard
bet
bird.
they are. Watkins Glen is the track
you
that
go.
I was thinking of in New York.
Man,
That's
I
right.
couldn't help you there.
Third hour of halftime right after this break.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Summer camp, vacation, travel baseball, repeat. Family reunion, lake time, I'm beat. A parent in the summertime is a glorified chauffeur, but if you find yourself in a fender bender, you'll need a good lawyer. I'm Jackie Mock. With 12 years of experience in insurance and car wreck cases, I can help get you back on the road for more summer fun. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
Now we will share a lifetime of the fondest memories.
Do you need gutters but think they're too expensive or that you need to get the soffit or fascia ready? No worries. Call the Gutter Guy. He does it all. No need to call multiple companies to get the right gutters for your home. Call the Gutter Guy. Quality, low maintenance, leak-free gutters with a 5-year warranty. The Gutter Guy also does vinyl siding and windows. The Gutter Guy. Over 30 years experience. Call 226-1259. Call the Gutter Guy.
Have you tried the TGI Friday weekday deals? On Monday, they have 50-cent wings, traditional or boneless, 10-piece minimum. Tuesday, cheeseburgers and fries with a fountain drink for $10. On Wednesday, Cajun shrimp and chicken pasta for only $12. On Thursday, enjoy a half a rack of ribs for only $12. Stop by and check out the weekday deals at TGI Fridays, I-540 at Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. In here, it's always Friday.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, lots of sunshine. Our high temperatures this afternoon will hang on to the middle 90s, mainly clear sky tonight, overnight low near 75. Sunshine with a slight chance of showers or storms Wednesday, our high on Wednesday, into the upper 90s. And then for the 4th of July, chance of isolated showers or storms are high on Thursday in the upper 90s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Forest Grain Incorporated, committed to setting the standard of excellence since 1936. KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 58 days. Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center Studios.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that can respect you. Smith, I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah. Judge, take it to the house. The dunk.
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my hot dog? Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no moth at halftime.
For one Razorback. It's vintage Matt Jones. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Welcome back. Halftime, hour number 3 on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Phil Elson with the one and only Clay Henry co-hosting with me this week. We got Christian Johnston, who is C. Brooks this week, in the studio running things, and we don't have any guests in this third hour. Bill King had to back out, so it is just you and us. We'll take your calls. We'll get through your texts. 877-377-6963 to get with us on the McClarty Daniel hotline. Seeing a little news breaking here about former Arkansas State head coach Blake Anderson, who has been on administrative leave at Utah State and apparently is not going to be returning. And here it is. It's less than 2 months before the season starts, and they're going to go with an interim coach. I have no idea what happened there. Obviously, Coach Anderson has dealt with some tragedy in the last few years with the passing of his wife, but apparently will not be back to coach Utah State. Not very good news to see. Let's look at some of the texts coming through here on the McClarty Daniel hotline. We got some racing fans here on the text line, Clay. Jamie from Fayetteville says, Pocono's closer to New York City than Watkins Glen. That's what I thought. I know the Poconos, and I've been to the Poconos. It's kind of central, western Pennsylvania. I think Watkins Glen is pretty far north in upstate New York. Upstate New York, by the way, is anything that's north of New York City, so way up there.
Upstate. You cross the Hudson, you're in upstate.
Pretty much. Yeah. Once you get out of the Bronx and you're still going north, you're upstate.
I don't know anything about the geography of that part of the country. I just really don't. I mean, I fly in there, fly out. It's like if you drive around someplace, you figure it out. But if you just fly in an airplane and you walk out and all there are skyscrapers and you just like, well, which way is the sun? I can't tell.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get my east and west bearings down.
We'll get to know that portion of the country a little bit. And my parents are from New York City, so they went up into the Catskills quite a bit, and it was their mountain getaways. And so, I mean, you've seen the movie Dirty Dancing, right? That took place in the Poconos, although it was filmed in North Carolina.
What about?
It was pretty much like their childhood in a sense. Those were experiences they had. White Christmas, I would not say that was something that my parents celebrated all that much.
No, but wasn't that the same area? Catskill Mountains resorts up there.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that's where White Christmas is that where it was written?
Setting. I think the setting. I mean, I'm sure it was filmed in California, but I thought the setting was a Christmas resort.
I'm gonna have to get that movie back on in December once we get to it. Can't do the Christmas movies too much this time of the year. Although every once in a while you do like a Christmas in July promotion that I've seen, but I'm not sure if that means you got to watch the movies. Yeah, we'll be headed up that way in, I guess it's 3 weeks, from Manhattan to Cooperstown. So that means you got to go north. You got to go right past West Point, and up through Oneonta, and then up to the Finger Lakes, which is where Cooperstown is located. Have you been to the Baseball Hall of Fame, Clay?
No, I have not. Man, it's just that part of the country is just the abyss to me. I just haven't been there. Like I say, flown into New York City, flown into Boston, and then went over to Cape Cod and covered the NCAA women's golf tournament. That was 30-something years ago. That was 40 years ago. So I've seen Cape Cod. Then let's see, what else have I done in that part of the country? Well, I've gone 3 times to Pennsylvania to fly fish, both in the State College area and the Gettysburg area. For a week, bounced around to both places. Gettysburg is wonderful, by the way. That's worth going to. And I had the privilege, I almost said luxury, of touring Gettysburg with a West Point grad who spent weeks there at the War College at Carlisle, which Carlisle and Gettysburg they're like 30 miles apart.
One of my best friends went to college at Dickinson, which is right there in Carlisle.
Right there, yeah. Yep. That's the Cumberland Mountains. When you're right on the Maryland border, really close to Washington D.C. But to walk around at Gettysburg is it is like nothing else that I've ever experienced. Well, the only other thing close was going out at Pearl Harbor above the Arizona.
Oh, sure.
And see the oil bubbling up still. That was.
About a couple weeks ago, and I dropped my daughter off at camp in Mississippi. We stayed the night in Vicksburg the night before, and right across the street from the hotel is the Vicksburg National Monument. You know, the famous battlefield. I mean, when we talk about taking a trip through American history, I walked through there about an hour and a half. It could have taken another 3 hours to walk through more of it. That is a fascinating place. It's beautiful too. But you go walking through. Now, I haven't been to Gettysburg, but I'm assuming there might be some of the same ideas of things that you can see there. I mean, you can see where all of the, you can see where all the regiments were situated. Exactly. You can see where the defenses were set up. It's just, it's fascinating.
And of course, they have, it's a national park, and they have a museum there with all the artifacts. I mean, I say all of it. They've got tons of it. And then they have, you go and watch a movie. And then they've got this display that you walk up a floor, and you see the battlefield, and you have narration. It's stunning how well they've done that. And then, Carlisle, which is close by, that's, the Carlisle barracks.
Jim Thorpe, I think.
Jim Thorpe, the Carlisle Indians. And I've read the book, The All-American, by Sally Jenkins. It is just riveting. Man, I sound like Ty today.
Throwing a dove in pretty soon that you dove into this history.
I dove into that book. It is prose, and her. Sally can really write, but it's well done. It's like 300 or 400 pages, and I just couldn't put it down. The history of the, Carlisle Indians, playing the Ivy League schools, and the Ivy League schools are calling them semi-pros. They're recruited to an Indian college. My goodness.
Chris texted in, wanted to know my favorite part of the Baseball Hall of Fame. I haven't been in 30 years. I've been twice. Once at age 14, the other at age 17, and I'm 47 now. So I'm assuming there's quite a bit different between now and then. But I'm going to tell you that maybe you remember, I think it was last summer. It was either last summer or the summer before. We had Josh Rawitch on the show for a segment. He's the president of the National Baseball Hall of Fame and a fraternity brother of mine from my freshman year at Indiana. He and I started our baseball careers the same year, me in the minor leagues. He is an intern for the Dodgers, and eventually he became the Dodgers director of PR, then the Arizona D-backs vice president of public relations, and now he's the president of the Baseball Hall of Fame. So we're going to get a back look. We're going to go behind the curtains, I'm assuming. He's going to show us around the Hall of Fame. We'll get the president's tour. I'd like to see
get the treatment.
Oh, dude, you know what I want to see? I want to see the bat that Babe Ruth used for the supposed called shot. If I can see that, maybe put the white gloves on. Oh, I think they got everything in baseball history in Cooperstown. Some of those things make it into the glass cases. Some of those things are behind some locked doors. I'm assuming, just because, that this guy is a good friend of mine, that we might be able to see some of the stuff behind locked doors.
And you hold it.
That's right. With white gloves. And don't even breathe on the thing.
Yeah.
And don't even look at it, because your eyesight's actually going to probably make it dwindle away a little bit and disintegrate.
So one of my really good friends and my mentor in golf taught me golf, took me to a different level, to be honest. From Miami, Oklahoma, was Mickey Mantle's best friend, Marshall Smith from Miami. He passed about 7 or 8 years ago. He taught, Hale Irwin from start. Craig Stadler and his son were his students. Mickey Wright came to Miami, took lessons from him. Luke Donald became number one after spending 3 weeks on the short game with Marshall. But he took me. He was a banker in Miami, and he took me in the vault in their insurance/bank at Miami, and there were 7 Mickey Mantle bats, all of them used to hit home runs in World Series.
Wow.
Mickey gave them to him. And I was like, well, what is this? And he says, this is retirement. This is my retirement fund. I don't know how many, collectors, had come there, because Mickey had told them, collectors would come to Mickey Mantle. You got stuff. And it's like, well, I don't have any bats. Marshall Smith's got them all. And they would come to Miami, trying to buy them. And he says, well, I know what they're worth because I've had offers for them. And so when I pass, I'm going to tell my wife to cash them in.
Wow.
I don't know if she did or not. But I held them.
With
they're
white
exactly
glove?
alike.
What, did you breathe on him?
I held them.
Ooh.
I held them in my hands. Yeah. He didn't care.
Could feel the power of the Mick right there for you. My dad had a chance to do that. Clay, my father grew up idolizing Mickey. He grew up in the Bronx and Queens, and this was the 50s. Mickey was not king; he was a god. If my father has a chance to hold a bat that Mickey Mantle used, I don't know, might be the last thing he ever does, to be honest. Let's take a call from Bobby in Cave Springs. Hey, Bobby, it's been a minute, man. How you doing, and how you been?
How y'all doing? You're talking about different sports. Let me tell you, I kind of like the NASCAR, but it's only one race. I went to an event where I saw the NHRA, and that's a bracket like basketball. And I really enjoyed it a lot more because there's lots of different races.
Drag racing.
And then you were talking about, drag racing.
Yeah, I've covered that, Bobby.
Is that right?
I covered, I think, maybe 10 or 12 spring nationals at Owasso outside of Tulsa. I got to be in Big Daddy Don Garland. No, I wasn't in his. I was in John Brute Force's pit crew.
John Force pit crew.
I drove his car. I drove it.
Didn't I see that he just had a horrible crash?
Yeah,
that he was hospitalized for.
Yeah, well, he's too old to be doing it now. But you think, I drove the car down the track. Well, what I did is I rode in the truck that goes down the track after he makes his run, and then he gets out, and then they tie it with a rope or a cord, and they tow it back to the pit. Well, somebody's got to steer it. I got to do that while it was being towed. It was dead, not running.
John Force is 75 years old.
Yeah, I don't think he's still racing.
Not after a 300-mile-an-hour crash. He was, absolutely.
Oh, he was?
He suffered a traumatic brain injury. The story
he
comes
already
from
had a brain injury.
June
That dude
30th.
had a brain injury. I was around him a little bit. So one of his sponsors was Jolly Rancher, and for 12 months, I got a box of the month Jolly Rancher, every flavor. It'd be a different flavor every month. I had so much Jolly
Be careful
Ranchers.
with those things. They'll rip your teeth out if you keep biting onto them.
I mean, it gets to a point you got way too many sour apple Jolly Ranchers.
Bobby, you're still here.
I'm sorry, Bobby.
That's all right. When Clay gets started, you just better get out of the way.
Hey, you guys sat together for a baseball game. I was like, all right, who's going to get out of the way of who
That
here?
was so cool. Yeah.
That was a fun day.
I felt like I was because I interviewed him as he went through his routine, and I felt, oh no, I'm in the way.
Hey, Bobby, now that I know you're not doing season tickets at Razorback Baseball anymore, are you going to give away any of your flags or the kilt? Or I mean, maybe you put them on display. Maybe we can have a Hognoxious Hall of Fame.
That's a good question. Somebody needs some of this stuff. My wife is anxious to get it out of the way. I'll tell you that for sure.
Well, I know a guy that would just absolutely love to wear a kilt at baseball games. He sits right next to me in the radio booth. We could size it for him.
No.
He'd look absolutely beautiful in a Scotch kilt. Bubba, you didn't even realize this, but yes, next year you get to wear that. Or you don't get to do the games. How do you like that?
I'm really looking forward to I'm getting a clear picture that if I will sit on my couch and watch the ball games and have any kind size of keyboard in front of me, that'll be the time and the qualifications to know more about the baseball team and the baseball game than any of the coaches and any of the players and any of the people that are there in person to support them.
You're going to become a real fan? Is that what you're saying?
That's where the wisest baseball minds in the country are, at home on their couch with a keyboard.
Well, Bobby, I'm going to miss seeing you over there. That's for sure. I mean, I know you'll be watching the games and maybe even be dressed like you usually would, but I'm just going to miss seeing you over there because that was kind of one of the things I would do is after a home run or a big moment or everybody's, booing the umpire and look, all right, what does Hog Noxious look like right now? Because he'd be leading the charge in those cases. Yeah. It's good to hear from you, Bobby. Thank you.
So, Bobby, we'll get you to come to the river and watch a game on my couch.
Yeah, no one will get a word in either way there, too. That's for sure.
No, maybe not.
877-377-6963 if you want to get with us here on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. Hey, guess what we got going on right now at hitthatline.com? Football trip of a lifetime. We are giving it away. Cowboys and Eagles at AT&T Stadium in Arlington on November the 10th. This is the Monster Burger Eating Contest. You do it in 150 seconds. You'll qualify for a chance to win. So tune into the Morning Rush, Halftime, and Ruskin and Zach for details and dates and qualifiers and our live broadcast. It's the 19th annual football trip of a lifetime brought to you by Hardee's, ESPN Arkansas, and hitthatline.com. Halftime is back right after this.
This is Halftime.
It's like Clark Kent. This guy is dominating offensively. Indeed, he's also a quality guy. We had more fun talking with him. He was a walk-on. Now he's an All-American. He also is brilliant. He's a great student.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned. Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas. More than just radio stations. Call or text the McLarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McLarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McLarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McLarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McLarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. Bet online. The game starts here.
This song hit number 2 without one guitar. Gary Wright traveled with George Harrison to India for spiritual enlightenment and wrote Dream Weaver, describing God as infinite love and compassion, seeing him through the trials of the night. Of the 330 million gods of Hinduism, not one will get you to the morning light, but only through the blood of Jesus Christ. Satan is a master deceiver, weaving many into make-believers. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and hitthatline.com. Have you been to Swark Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swark Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swark Liquor, 864 East Collin Ray Drive in Queen, Arkansas. Swark Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you. Are you ready to give your family the best 4th of July experience yet? USA Fireworks wants to make that happen with the USA Fireworks Bangin' Giveaway. USA Fireworks has helped Arkansans more than 30 years. Go to hitthatline.com/USA Fireworks and enter for your chance to win a fireworks show worth $2,000 retail. Again, hitthatline.com/USA Fireworks. For more information about wholesale prices, go to usafireworks.org.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric.
Somebody that just loves to learn and child grows up to be somebody you just love to burn.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Favorite beaches, favorite NASCAR tracks, soccer. We have touched quite a few things today on Halftime with me and with Clay Henry and the C. Brooks, which also will have to include which Mel Brooks movies does Christian watch this weekend. He watched Blazing Saddles last weekend, and we got a choice of 6 for him to potentially pick from. So we'll have to have that figured out by the time we end tomorrow's show. I saw that a 6'7" prospect has been brought up by the Washington Nationals. James Wood just came up to the big leagues, which will make him, I guess he's the tallest rookie in baseball right now. You got there have been a few more taller players that are getting into the game these days. Thinking of Ellie De La Cruz from the Reds, O'Neill Cruz, who I think is the tallest shortstop in the history of the sport at 6'7". I still remember Tony Clark. Tony Clark, he is the president of the Players Union, 6'8". You just don't see a lot. That's the thing about being a tall hitter. You can get jammed a little bit. It's tough to turn on those pitches inside. 6'7". You don't see these hitters too often. Frank Howard would come to mind, I think, because that was the same size he is. And then there's Aaron Judge. So bigger, taller, faster, stronger. Major league players are pretty much getting the same too.
Silent movie. What about that one, Phil?
Silent movie. I don't know if I've seen that. Maybe I need to watch that one. Maybe I need to put that one on here. Chris in Springdale wants to know, would you be a Giants, Mets, Jets, or Yankees fan? Do I have to pick any of them? I don't know. I can't root for any New York teams. Truthfully, they have just too many to choose from. I have a cousin who grew up in Jersey and lived in New York for a little bit. I mean, so he grew up. I almost felt like he would kind of pick and choose between the teams. So a longtime Giants fan. I don't remember him ever rooting for the Jets. He, for some reason, was an Oilers fan, Houston Oilers, and Nebraska Cornhuskers. He was a Huskers fan, right there in the middle of New Jersey.
That's weird.
Yeah, no kidding. You want to know how excited he was? Because he lives in Jersey again. Now Nebraska goes to New Jersey like every, 3 or 4 years to play Rutgers. I imagine he might have been one of the only people who was not from Nebraska that was living in New Jersey that bought tickets to that game just to see the Huskers up close.
Rutgers is a unique place. Covered, the Razorbacks. But that was Bielema's time. They lost to Rutgers. Somehow they had a big lead and screwed that up.
I remember that one.
Yep.
They went 0-2 against Rutgers, right?
Yeah,
home and road.
A.J. Derby played quarterback that day because Brandon Allen was hurt.
I remember going to Rutgers. I went to Piscataway with women's basketball. Jimmy was the head coach and lost there. And that was C. Vivian Stringer was the head coach at that point. I don't think she is any longer. She had their program in a pretty good place. And I know we went 0-1 against Rutgers in women's basketball at that point. I visited Princeton. That's in New Jersey. That's pretty. It's a different, getting a chance to go visit an Ivy League school. Not like I was ever going to have a chance to get in there. Yeah. So Chris knows why my cousin was a fan of the Huskers. Is because Mike Rozier is from New Jersey. So that's why I ended up rooting for him. I mean, he's still a Huskers fan too.
Osborne recruited New Jersey. There's no doubt that was one of his areas.
Well, so did Joe Paterno.
Yep.
Paterno recruited Jersey
but that's
incredibly
a little
hard.
closer
It's right
than,
there.
Than Lincoln. Yeah. Yeah, I get it. I mean, that's where Osborne he recruited that area in Texas. Like Turner Gills from Fort Worth. He learned if you're going to play Oklahoma, you better have some Texans on the team.
Well, now you get the SEC that has 2 schools in Texas, and then LSU, Oklahoma, Arkansas bordering Texas. When the Razorbacks got into the SEC, there were only 2 states in this league that bordered Texas. Now you got 3 and 2 schools right there in the middle of the state too.
Yeah. When this was interesting when my dad and I talked about, Arkansas going to the SEC, and he goes, makes perfect sense to me. And he says, I traveled through the South for years and years covering baseball. And I was like, you did what? He says, oh, yeah. And he started naming off all the teams in the Southern Association. Travelers were in the Southern Association, and they back in the day, the Arkansas Gazette covered the Travelers home and away. Think about that, Phil.
They didn't even send radio broadcasters on the road. Jim was doing recreations.
Yeah, but back in the 50s, up until the early 60s, they stopped traveling on the road for minor league baseball. It's like the recreations. That's another story. You don't want to get me started on that. I helped with those.
Oh, you did. So at some point, you've got to go into the Travelers Hall of Fame. I'm going to go to the game tonight. They've got the little Hall of Fame, which they've also turned into like a little gathering area, and they've redone it since it was put together. And there is a shot there. In fact, you've got the 3 photos of Traveler broadcasters they have there are Bud Campbell, and then Jim Elder.
He was my Uncle Bud.
Yeah, they got Bud Campbell, then Jim Elder, and me. Those are the 3 photos they have there. And you see me in a black T-shirt with my sunglasses on. I think I was 23 or 24 when they took that photo, and I'm standing at Ray Winder Field. The shot they have of Jim, I think, was him recreating a game and this is the thing you got to see, Clay, because I'm imagining your hands would have been on some of this stuff. The carts that he used for crowd sound, they had the actual, I think, didn't he use sticks for the crack of the bat?
He had a little baby bat. I don't know if it's like the one that Bubba's got, but it's just like a little, they give away those little bats, and he had a block of wood, and he'd hold the block of the wood and he'd crack it. I mean, and it sounded just exactly like what it should. And then he had a crowd noise card, and I think it was a minute and a half, and you could count. I mean, and I've sit there in that trailer in Rose City, at night, and I'm the guy calling the other press box, getting the notes, and would hand him, like 2 innings at a time. So we'd have 2 innings to do. But there was one night, back to what I was going to say first, the crowd noise, the sound, every 31 seconds you'd hear, cold beer, the same guy, you just count it off.
So he had a 31-second clip of crowd noise, right?
Well, it was more than that, but when it would start, you'd count to 31, and that guy, and I would mouth it without making any noise, like it was me doing it, because I could hit it perfect. But that was just classic stuff. And there was one time that the little crowd noise machine broke. The little, like it wouldn't play. And so he says, well, the mosquitoes are bad tonight. We're closing the windows.
Well, you could get away with that no matter where you are in the Texas League or the Southern Association.
Yeah, and then they were playing in Midland or El Paso or someplace where it doesn't rain. And the guy in the other end, in the press box, he left the phone off the hook by accident, didn't hang it up. So I just kept calling, busy. So he called up to me. He didn't have any more information. So he had a thunderstorm that came up, and we had a rain delay. There was no rain in El Paso that night. There wasn't any rain for 500 miles from there.
Oh, man.
So I had to call the front office, and somebody ran up there and told the guy, put the receiver back on the hook and, call Clay.
I think the most famous story of baseball recreations is Reagan, like President Reagan. He did recreations for the Cubs, and the ticker tape broke, and he had the guy foul off 17 straight pitches before they fixed the ticker tape. 17 straight foul balls. Theater of the mind. There's some great stuff. 877-377-6963 if you want to get in and buy this. We're brought to you by Crabtree RV Center in Alma, the dealership that has served the River Valley in Northwest Arkansas for over 70 years. Making big adventure plans for your family, Crabtree RV Center has an RV that's going to fit your family's needs perfectly. The service and parts department is on site. They have everything you need at Crabtree RV, right at the junction of I-40 and I-49 beside the Cracker Barrel in Alma, and online at crabtreerv.com. We're in the home stretch, and halftime is back right after this break.
How about Jones? Don't be so cool, dude.
This is Halftime. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
There's big news in the mobile sports betting business. Bet Saracen was just named the 15th largest sports book in America. That's because Arkansans like to do business with a winner. Find all your winners on Bet Saracen. Download it today and look for my R prop bet specials. I pick them, you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
When you need tough and paint just isn't enough, check out River City Coatings in Van Buren. When it comes to your metals, paint can peel and crack over time. Whether it's your patio furniture, rims or trims on your automobile, or heavy equipment, no one has time for a redo. Powder coating provides the toughness you need. Preserve your investment with powder coating from River City Coatings. River City Coatings, certified John Deere, Caterpillar, ISO 9001, Packer, and UL provider of tough. River City Coatings, 471-7675 or online at rivercitycoatings.com.
Precision Garage Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all your garage door needs, including garage door repair and new garage doors and openers. Fully licensed and insured with the largest showroom in Northwest Arkansas at 1907 Town West Drive in Rogers and in Fort Smith at 416 North 10th Street. Call Precision Garage Door today at 844-PDS-DOOR or check them out online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Financing is available. Precision Garage Door, voted best garage door company of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley.
Why do people love Shamrock Liquor Warehouse? Simple. They've got it all. 70 years in business, 15,000 square feet of choices. They buy in volume so you can save. What else? How about the largest selection of everything? Shamrock's got it. Special orders? Shamrock's got it. Convenient drive-through, open 6 days a week? Shamrock's got it. Need a keg for your party? Shamrock's got it. Load up at Shamrock Liquor Warehouse at the corner of Midland and Riverfront Drive in Fort Smith.
Walk-Ons is always a win. Whether it's for a post-game celebration, drinks with the crew, or an easy weeknight dinner, Walk-Ons has you covered. Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers and cocktails. Dig into their mouth-watering menu items like po' boys, gumbo, and voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salads. Find your nearest location in Rogers, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Conway, and Little Rock, or order online or in the app. Walk-On Sports Bistro for the win.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Istanbul, Constantinople, now it's Istanbul, Constantinople, been a long time gone. Constantinople, now it turns to light on a moonlit night. Every gal in Constantinople lives in Istanbul, Constantinople. Even day in Constantinople, she'll be waiting in Istanbul.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at Hit That Line AR and on Facebook and Instagram at Hit That Line. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel Hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
The one and only Clay Henry with us as well. Got C. Brooks, C. Maverick, C. Unit, C. Music, Christian Johnston. There's only one guy there that's in our studios as well. And let's see where this is going to go here. I got one of my Facebook friends who is a radio DJ. You know, you gotta find ways to stimulate conversation at some point when it comes to radio, right? I wonder how we'll do it with these words here. He asked, ruin a 4th of July party in 3 words. How do you do that? Maybe Joe in Avoca can do that for us too. Those are 3 words. Maybe that would ruin a July 4th party. Joe, been a minute, man. How you doing?
Hey, guys.
What you want to talk about today?
I wanted to apologize to Clay when he was working on his garage. I made a off-the-wall comment about a cabin thing, so I know he's a good guy.
It's okay, Joe.
And also about the Steelers, I actually got to see them in person. It was 1973, 74, Palm Springs High School. They were practicing. And the Angels had a facility over across the street for spring training.
Yeah.
Or you may have been there still, I don't know. But they had a football field, too. And you could, they let us out of class just so we could go watch them. And then just a chain link fence in between them, so we got to see them up close and personal.
That's pretty cool. I was not there. What were they doing in Palm Springs? Were they out there playing the Rams?
No, they were practicing. They had a playoff game against the West Coast team.
Okay.
And anyway, old Jarrell was doing his thing, kicking 50, 60-yard field goals. Bradshaw looked like he was still, young.
He
but
was.
You know, the most impressive one of the whole bunch was the guy that always wore the short sleeves, Mike Webster.
Yeah.
I think the whole team was scared of him. He looked like he owned the place.
That would have been about his rookie year, too, because, Ray Mansfield was their center around 73. I think Webster might have come in with the 74 class, which might be the greatest draft class of all time. I think Stallworth and Swan. So Jack Ham out of that class, too. But I think Mike Webster was in that class. And you're right. He always had the sleeves real tight into those shoulder pads.
Graduated in 75. That's when I moved back to Arkansas. But anyway, I just found that interesting. You guys have a good day and take care of that garage, Clay.
All right,
Garage
Joe.
is doing great. I'm looking at it. I can see it from here.
I didn't realize that I had no idea that happened. But, hey, we're all about bringing people together on this radio show. If anybody else has anything that you want to apologize to Clay or to me or maybe to C. Maverick about, then it's 877-377-6963.
Phil, the explanation. We built this, or we didn't build this house. When we bought this house, it did not have a standalone garage, or it did not have a garage of any type. It was a weekend place, and they just parked outside on the gravel. And I just knew we had to have a garage for, riding lawnmower, for Gene Ann's car, all the things. And so we built one, and it matched the house, and it took about, 2 or 3 months. And so Bo was giving status reports about the garage, and I think Joe finally called and he's like, I don't really give a flip about the garage.
Okay, so this is coming from like 7 years ago, maybe?
Yes.
All right, are there a statute of limitations on when you can apologize for something?
I think we just broke it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's some divorced
Well, I
couples
think
that
he
it's
did
taken
say
them like 10 or
something
15 years to finally get to the I'm sorry part of it.
And it got to be, it got to be a little deal. How's the garage? The garage is fine. We've added this, like it's, the slab's been poured. First we had to clear like 6 trees out. That bothered people that we cut down trees and remove, the root wads. And, then let that ground settle. Then you poured the slab. You have to let that, cure. And then the skeleton went up, and I made a big deal that they were making it out of 2x6s. Normally construction, you make it out of 2x4. So it's like a sturdy garage. And then we put a, 40-year metal roof on it. And, and we got an insulated, garage door that's double wide. We just went on and on and on.
Well, I'll tell you what, I went on a walk through the neighborhood a couple of days ago, and I figured out one thing that's missing from my house. I've got a carport, but I don't have an actual garage. So if you get bored when you're done with this trip out west, I mean, I got a project.
We just have to close in 2 sides, right?
That's just 2 sides. That's it. It's exactly right.
Yeah, and part of it's going to be a garage door, so that simplifies it. So you got one wall and a garage door.
Okay, but you'll supply all of the equipment and all of the
manpower.
Yes. No,
I'll
not
drive
just the
the nails.
manpower. I mean the money to put out for all of the supplies and all of the.
You don't want to know what this garage cost. It was but I mean, it now goes into the value of our property. I'll send you a picture later so you'll get the idea.
Lloyd sent us a text. He wants to apologize for having Brian and Ozark call up. He says that he's from Clarksville.
Nobody can apologize for that enough.
I know, that's funny. Yeah, so that we're way inside the statute of limitations for that, because Brian's been calling the show for.
It's
been about a little more than
lately.
a year. Well, yeah, I think he's being a little nicer. He's clearing his. He clears his throat when he starts the phone call, and he doesn't have. It's not full-time resting bitch voice. He doesn't like always sound like he's 100% condescending. It's just 50% condescending. Just wait until Texas starts 4-0 before their first SEC game. The RBV will be back.
It will be rolling.
Very well. 3 words that can ruin a 4th of July party. Text out of the 479 says out of beer. Not bad. Another one here says potato salad raisins. Who is putting raisins in potato salad? Is that a thing? Is that really a thing? If people are putting potato salad in raisins, I need to be far away from that party. I can eat raisins. I can eat potato salad. They do not belong in the same bowl. That's not chocolate. I think that would ruin a 4th of July party in 3 words pretty darn quickly. But those are all the ones that I got for the time being. JT wanted you to describe the smell of nitromethanol fuel, which I'm assuming might be the fuel that powers the NHRA drag racers.
The Top Fuel and then also the Funny Car. Those were the ones that ran that. I'll just say it's the smell of money.
Well, that's the smell. The smell of gasoline is the smell of money too, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, but it was as that stuff burned, it burned your nostrils and in your eyes. Tears came down. I mean, it's a toxic smell. There isn't any doubt about that.
So it's a little different than the usual sort of gasoline smell at the local Circle K?
Yeah, and I mean, and not all the cars, there were, different classifications. Just Top Fuel and Funny Car are the only 2 that burned that, I think.
Here's some other
highly flammable.
3 words to ruin a 4th of July party. Biden or Trump? Carl sends that in. I'd agree with you, Carl. Well said.
The other one is the burgers are burnt.
The other thing is, too, let's stay away from the political conversations at July 4th parties.
Yeah, it's not time for that.
Just a little bit. Back up, Terry. Ronnie says, back up, Terry. JT says, my mom's here. Greg in Farmington says, ex-wife is here, but that's 4 words, Greg. Ex and wife are not just 1 word, as far as I understand it. I'd still say that's not chocolate. It's probably the last one you could actually get. Fingers blown off. Troy and Harrison says, fingers blown off. Yeah, that would ruin a 4th of July party, too. Absolutely. I get a little nervous about those because I
Run
never
real fast.
Last year was the first time I ever actually lit a firework on fire, and I didn't realize I could run that fast because I'm not going to be the guy that does the JPP. Remember him, the defensive tackle from the Giants? It's not going to be me. I need my full complement of fingers if I'm going to be keeping score of a baseball game properly. That's more important to me than anything else. Well, maybe
I sent you
close to it.
pictures of the garage.
That is a beautiful garage, Clay.
Yeah, and you see the fish that I put up on it?
Well, of course.
And I went up on the ladder to do that. And then we built a walkway from the house to the garage.
I don't even need the walkway. I don't even need the fish on display. I just need 2 walls. That's it. I'm not asking for much.
Yeah, we had carports growing up in Meadowcliff out in southwest Little Rock. Yep.
And then 2 people, like 3 people, 4 people have now texted in, cops are here.
Cops are here.
That might do it too. That might go along
how about
with
this
the
one? Your
fingers blown
ex
up.
is here.
Ooh.
That's too many in it.
Been 3 or 4 people that came in on that one too.
The cops are here. That's 3. Your
Hey,
ex is here.
Make sure that you get the Bet Saracen app on your phone. If you want to put a wager on your favorite sporting event, you got a lot of Major League Baseball games going on right now. Copa America, UEFA Euro 2024, the Olympics coming up in less than a month. And it's all on the Bet Saracen app, working on your Apple iPhone. Just download from the App Store. Google users, get it from Google Play, and any web browser, betsaracen.com. We'll be back and wrap halftime up right after this.
This is halftime.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
Whether it's torque, horsepower, or just extreme work, diesel trucks do their job. But when your diesel truck needs maintenance or repair, it's time to head to Extreme Diesel. Everything from standard maintenance to extreme repairs, including injector testing. Extreme Diesel delivers. They have the tools and service for your Cummins, Duramax, or Power Stroke. You trust your truck to deliver on your needs, and you can trust your truck at Extreme Diesel. 6630 Alma Highway between Van Buren and Alma. Check them out on Facebook or give them a call at 651-3363. They're bilingual, now offering CP4 solutions for both Chevy and Ford.
Man, I wish I knew you were here. We hear that every day at In Stock Parts, located off Highway 45 across from the cold storage in Fort Smith. Are you a maintenance technician, landscaper, farmer, or a do-it-yourselfer in need of bearings, belts, or roller chain? Or safety supplies like gloves, safety glasses, or earplugs? Maybe you need drill bits, tap and die sets, lubricants, or even a gas-powered pump or generator. Don't waste your time driving around. Stop by In Stock Parts, your industrial parts resource, or check them out online at InStockParts.com. In Stock Parts.
Summer camp, vacation, travel baseball, repeat. Family reunion, lake time, I'm beat. A parent in the summertime is a glorified chauffeur, but if you find yourself in a fender bender, you'll need a good lawyer. I'm Jackie Mock. With 12 years of experience in insurance and car wreck cases, I can help get you back on the road for more summer fun. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
Now we will share a lifetime of the fondest memories.
You will never find a boring old burger at Art's Barbecue and Burgers in Fort Smith. Try the Wild West Burger, topped with a hot link, jalapenos, and Art's hot sauce. The Brisket Burger, with tender brisket and caramelized onions on top of their ham-patted burger. Or the famous Art Attack, with house bacon, smoked ham, an onion ring, and a fried egg. There are 10 different burgers to choose from, and they're all $1 off every Saturday. Art's Barbecue Burgers and more. Rogers Avenue, next to Buddy's in Fort Smith.
Do you need gutters but think they're too expensive or that you need to get the soffit or fascia ready? No worries. Call the Gutter Guy. He does it all. No need to call multiple companies to get the right gutters for your home. Call the Gutter Guy. Quality, low maintenance, leak-free gutters with a 5-year warranty. The Gutter Guy also does vinyl siding and windows. The Gutter Guy. Over 30 years experience. Call 226-1259. Call the Gutter Guy.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Z Road, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
Summertime in Arkansas means pond and creek fishing, and nothing catches bass and bluegill in a pond like a Rebel Crickhopper. You can twitch it, pop it, walk it, and swim it. It's the ultralight fishing lure that looks and acts like a real grasshopper. The Crickhopper works great in tandem with light spinning rods and reels with 4 or 6 pound fishing line. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle shops everywhere. The Rebel Crickhopper.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
With no fiction, the wilderness coming. I travel around the creatures and the Lord on the road again. I make my trail in the field to roll
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Out of soap, burnt my wiener, Yellow Jackets, three words that'll ruin a July 4th party for you. All of these work. All of these work really well. We still have a couple days to worry about it all that much, and a couple of days to figure out plans for July 4th if you don't have any going on there. You're traveling on July 4th, though, Clay, right? Lengthy drive. Nothing better to do on July 4th. Hopefully the roads will be nice and clear for you. I imagine they will.
Well, so it's an easy drive, so to speak. I'm going to my buddy's ranch, Jim Daniels Ranch, outside of the Denver airport, just to the east of the Denver airport, which is out in the plains. He's got a ranch, horses, center pivot for hay and all that stuff. And I'll spend the night there. And then the morning of the 5th, Jean Ann flies in. She does not do 15, 16-hour drives in my truck. I mean, the way that works is that, hey, there's a Sonic. Let me get a Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like 20 minutes later, hey, I have to go to the bathroom. And it just keeps going. And so it's like this, it's just, I don't know. We just don't, that's just not the best way for me to travel. The best way for me to travel is 2 stops in 13 hours. And she's like, aren't you going to stop? No, I don't need gas. I've got a 32-gallon tank. So I drive out there, pick her up, and then we do a few things. We're staying in, a cabin up around Buffalo Pass, close to Steamboat Springs, for a few nights, and then we're going down to Snowmass for about 6 or 7 nights. And I'll take her back to Denver. She'll fly back, and then I start my fishing stuff. So Thursday I'll get up at 3:30 or 4 whenever I wake up for my first bathroom break, and I'll just launch.
Just take it from there.
Yeah, I'll have dinner in Denver.
I just can't do the lengthy drives any longer, but the longest drive I made, I guess I would have made 2 of these. I made it from Pittsburgh to Helena, Montana.
Oh my gosh.
Well, no, let me actually, that took me a couple of days. I made it from Minneapolis to Helena straight, but I also made it from the middle of South Dakota, little Chamberlain, South Dakota, to Pittsburgh without sleep. I went to a White Sox-Yankees game in Chicago on the way, ate at a Cracker Barrel right after that on the Indiana side of the border, got pulled over by a cop outside Akron because at that point I think I'd been awake for like 18 hours, and made it home just in time at about 8:30 in the morning. I would have been 22 years old. So, yeah, Mom yelled at me, being that I pulled into the house, and she thought I was coming back later on in the night.
So when we're done here, I'm going to start writing my Bobby Petrino stories from the interview I did. Can get that done before I left for Hogs Plus.
Well, that's some stuff for us to get into tomorrow, too.
Yeah, I mean, so remind me about that stuff, because it'll be fresh. I'll write it all this afternoon.
It was great. Really great show today. Enjoyed this. And it's one of those shows where we prepared a ton of stuff on the rundown and got to maybe an eighth of it because we had other conversations that just seemed to take the show in different directions. And sometimes that's what July Sports Radio is all about. Thanks to Clay. Thanks for the C Unit.